Hey everyone, it's Sebastian here, Candle Business Pro. In this video, I want to break down how we have achieved $1 million in candle sales in 3 years. So we're super excited. We just passed our 3-year anniversary, and we are this close to reaching $1 million in our Shopify account. We have reached that when you factor in the other avenues that we sell that was offline, not through our Shopify store. So super excited. We're going to break all of that down. But let me give you a little bit of backstory of why I want to do this. So this is not to brag or to bring attention to the successes that we've had, but also to talk. I want to talk more about some of the struggles that it took to get here, and some of the paths that we took that didn't necessarily work out quite the way that we would have hoped for them to. And hopefully, it can kind of be a learning lesson for yourself. I do believe that we need to try everything and see what kind of works. But then we need to be quick to eliminate some of those things that aren't working. So we're going to go through a lot of that here today. A little bit more of the backstory of why I wanted to create this video for you was we do at Candle Business Pro have a membership, and we also do sell candle making courses and our wholesale course. And I think that they are very, very valuable. And a lot of people that have gone through our courses are seeing a lot of really great success. But there are also going to be people out there in this coaching space that are selling a product, and they likely have not actually gone and sold the candles. So there's been a lot of lively conversation because now in the age of AI, people can have a Chat GPT written course, and then they turn around and they're selling it on Facebook or whatnot for 20, $50. And so there's been a lot of conversation about that. And since I'm in that space, I wanted to show real numbers, break down exactly what we're doing, so that you can at least have some trust and faith in some of the educators out there. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there that can show you how to make candles, that you can learn a lot from. With us, we not only make good candles, but we sell them as well. And we're selling candles every single day. And so we want to break that down, just kind of show you that it is possible. I don't want to sell you a dream. It's going to take a lot of hard work, but you can get there. If you're disciplined and you keep at it, you will definitely be able to get there. So enough of that. I am going to provide a PDF download of some great information for you if you would like. And you can get that at candlebusinesspro.com/million. So let's break this down. All right, to get to $1 million. Now, through Shopify, that calculates all of our sales for us, we are actually at $962,605. Now, we also do some selling on Etsy, and we also do selling on Amazon, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But the majority of our sales are all recorded through Shopify, and that number as of today is $962,605. So just shy of that million. We've done several offline things as well. We've done some wholesale accounts that don't go through our Shopify. We now do them all through Shopify. It just makes it easier to track everything there and see all the numbers and our growth and the charts. But just so you know, we have recorded 962,605 through Shopify. So let's break that down. To break down that 962,605, the cost of goods is $288,000. So cost of goods, we calculate the wax, the wicks, the vessels, the packaging, everything that goes into making a candle, the stickers, the labels, the lids, anything that goes into making a candle is considered a cost of good. Okay. We also in that bucket will include the bags that we put our candles in to give to customers whenever they make a purchase, the tissue paper that we wrap the candles in, anything that goes into that transaction that is part of the delivery to a customer is going into that cost of goods. Our boxes that we ship the candles in, we're putting all that in our cost of goods. Now, when you're first starting out, you may not have all those additional cost of goods, shipping boxes and things like that. It might be hard to calculate. Once you're in the business for a while, you'll be able to calculate. We love Inventora. I'm sure there's a link below. You can grab it on our website. Inventora is what we calculate everything with. It's really nice because it's kind of grown with us. They have a free plan we started with, and then it's just grown with us. And anytime you put in, for instance, whenever I go out and I buy boxes, even the shipping of those boxes to us, it calculates all of that, and then it'll break it down over your products as you direct it to do. So that's fantastic. A way of doing your cost of goods, or you can just keep a really good Excel spreadsheet, which would work just as well. It just takes more time. So cost of goods, 288,000. Our overhead, 120,000. That's going to be our rent on our retail spaces that we now have. That's going to be our employees, not payroll, but it's going to be like our incentives, our holiday parties, things like that we do when we take care of our employees. We do a lot of culture building, team building events with our teams. Also, our website fees, to host our websites, right? There's a lot of our email provider that our workspaces are in. Those are all going to be part of our overhead. Any of those softwares and things like that we use, that's going to be considered part of our overhead. So payroll came in at 220,000. So that's for our staff, and that also includes a salary for Chad. We do a pretty minimal salary for him since we are a S corp for the way that we're set up, and I'm definitely not giving any financial advice. Make sure that you speak with a CPA to decide how your business should be set up. We started as an LLC, but it made sense for us as we have grown and that we have a team for us to switch to an S corp. One of the things about switching to an S corp is that the owners have to, or an owner has to be on payroll, so that they're actually paying employee taxes or employment taxes, and then the employer is paying the employer taxes on that as well. So Chad gets a set salary from the business. It's minimal. It has to be a rate that would be comparable for the role that they're doing. So we pay him at a rate that would be comparable for a store manager in retail, since he's in the shops most of the time. And then the way we get paid out of the business outside of that is by doing owner draws and disbursements off of the business, which you do through an S corp. All right, so going forward here. So marketing, $78,000 in marketing. That's going to be ads. That is going to be paying photographers to do photo shoots for us, things like that. So $78,000 in marketing. A lot of that ended up being sort of a waste, and that's something we can talk about. I don't want to say a waste, but didn't return the investment. It didn't return the investment that we put into it. A lot of, running ads is extremely hard to do to get a good return. We're to the point of almost breaking even. So if I spend $100 on ads, I would get about $120 in sales out of that. So that's almost a break even. However, you also got to think about your cost of goods. So I would not recommend anyone go down the route of running Facebook or Meta ads until you really have everything else within your business really dialed in. Because where I feel like we are successful on one side, there's still areas that we can grow in, and advertising is just one that online is not working for us. So moving on, the other amounts that we have here is donation. So we do a lot of fundraisers, which we're definitely going to talk about today. And we've donated $63,500 total. So that's from doing fundraisers through the sales of our candles, but also from us just doing give back to our community and to causes that we feel the need to donate to. So we have a mission statement and values on our website that connects with a lot of our customers. And it also drives a lot of the reasons behind the decisions that we make. It's some of the why of our business. So after all of that, the business then brings in $191,105. So that is the total amount of money that has gone to the business. Now, we have definitely taken owner disbursements from that. We pay ourselves disbursement from there. I am not on the payroll of the store. Chad is. I am not. So, of course, to pay our bills and live, we take the money from the business, and that's what you're supposed to do in the way that we're set up. So that, again, that was $193,105. So our journey started in February 25th of 2022. So we just hit, at the time of this recording here on March 13th of 2025, it's been 3 years, 3 years and almost 2 weeks. And again, we have just crossed the $1 million in total sales, and to the business has been $193,105, and about another $100,000 of that would be to Chad's salary. If we factor that into this, it would bring in to us, Chad and myself, about $300 and $10,000 for us over 3 years. Is that good? It depends. So a little over $100,000 a year on average. Of course, the first year was definitely not that. The last year was a significant amount of that. But when you break that down to two people, 300,000, 3 years, $50,000 salaries. Yeah, we there you can decide if that's good or not, compared to maybe what you're doing currently. Now, of course, there's a lot of ways of cutting out a lot of those costs to raise up the revenue for yourself or for the business, and we can probably talk about some of that as well. And when we talk about some of the things that we're going to do moving forward. Now, let's break down how we got these sales. So, I'm only going to break down the 962,605. The other amounts came from Amazon and Etsy, and we'll talk about those sales channels as well. But breaking down that 962,000, this is the way we brought in the sales. Wholesale for us brought in $171,120. Again, $171,120. That average, we have 138 wholesale accounts so far. So on average, that's going to be $1,240 a wholesale account. Now, let me also say we have acquired a couple really big wholesale accounts. We are in the Indianapolis Airport, Detroit Airport, the Ford Airport there, and then the Grand Rapids Airport. So we have a big airport account that we are in several of the shops there. When you go to an airport and you're flying out, all the shops that sell like $5 bottles of water, all those are owned by one of the two companies, right, that run all of these shops. Even like the restaurants, the McDonald's, the Starbucks, they're all owned by a big umbrella company. That company buys wholesale from us and sells them in the airports. So those are a couple of big accounts. There are location-based candles. So we have one that is a Michigan-based and an Indiana-based candle that we have them for a lot of other places, but those are the ones that we're starting with the airports. So that was a big account. So that's over a $10,000 wholesale account. So the numbers kind of skew up higher because of that. So when I talk about $1,240 as the average, it's because we've had these larger ones. Also, we landed a wholesale account with Rally House. It's kind of a unique account to have because they actually are a sports apparel company. So they are in a lot of college towns. They sell jerseys, hats, sporting, kind of like Lids and Dick's, like a hybrid of that. They're in the malls. Mostly. We're in over 40 of their stores now. So they actually have like a hometown section because they're in college towns and things like that. So those location-based candles of ours are in over 40 of their stores. So that's also another big account. So if it wasn't for those two large accounts, that $1,240 average wholesale account is going to be down closer to 800. So just keep that in mind. I don't like to sell someone a dream that getting into wholesale and you're going to have, all of this really high average orders. We actually have a wholesale course where I teach exactly how we do our wholesale. I give you our spreadsheet. I give you our email templates. I give you our follow-up email templates because that's the most important part of wholesale is doing the follow-up. And then I also give you our catalog. I actually give you 3 of them because we have them based on who you're trying to sell candles to. So we have 3 different wholesale catalogs. So I give you all of that in our wholesale course. I don't want to promise someone that they're going to get an average of $1,240 order. It's most likely going to be less than $700 for your average account. You're going to have some of those big ones that are going to spend $5,000-$7,000 on an order, and then it's going to start to skew it up. But as you're first starting out, it's going to be your local shops most likely, and those orders are going to be again $700-$800 range there on average. So let me get back on track here. So of that 962,605, wholesale was 171,000. Online through our website was 214,765. Now, that is where we have put our focus, is on our website. For your website, you have got to do a few things. You have to have really good photography. You just do. You can shoot really good photography with your phone. You just need to know how to do it. You can go just on YouTube and search for not just photography, but search for product photography. It's a way different way of shooting an angle. Photography is going to make something look pretty. It's going to make people look pretty. But product photography is going to shoot a product at the right angles that people. It's different. When you're shooting a product, you need to be able to see everything about the product so they understand what they're buying. I see a lot of photography on people's websites when I'm doing reviews for them, and I can't read the label, so I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know the scent. I don't know what they're trying to say below. Are those scent notes? Is it where we're talking about handmade soy candles? I don't know. It's because they focus too much on the aesthetics of having the nice backgrounds with, stuff, whether it's, flowers or like sheer scarves and beads and all kinds of stuff to make it, pretty. And those lifestyle type of images are just fine. However, you need to be clear that you're selling a product and you need to see that product. For instance, when you go to Macy's.com and you are shopping for a shirt, sure, you want to see the model wearing it because then you can envision yourself wearing it, how it's going to kind of sit and lay on you. But you also need those images close up where you see, okay, this is exactly what it looks like. This is the exact print. Or if there's a saying on there, what does it actually say? You wouldn't be able to sell this shirt if you're not close enough to see what it says on there. You're going to need to have all of those type of images. So keep that in mind with your photography. Photography is expensive, but you can do a lot of trading of product for photographers in your local market. People that are more starting out, but their photos are still great. A lot of people will do a barter or a reduced fee for you if you're not comfortable with doing your own photos. But again, if you go to YouTube, you're here on YouTube most likely, search for product photography or product photography with an iPhone. And there will be lots of great setting things. There are those photo room, those apps that will like remove a background. But to be honest with you, when I see a candle like floating on water or in these, if you're going to use the AI apps like those to do your images, you still got to make sure that they look good. Some of these like background removers, they're removing too much of the side of the image and it just doesn't look good. So you have to really kind of have a gut check on, do these look good? If they don't, if you're not 100% confident in your images, what do you expect a stranger to do when they come across your website? So photography, that's super important. A couple things that you need to have on your website. You need to have a pop-up. So when someone goes to visit your website for the first time, there needs to be a pop-up to collect their email address. You want their email address, so you're going to be able to retarget them. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But you got to have a pop-up on there, and a 10% discount is not going to cut it. No one's going to give their email address up for a 10% discount. You got to go heavy with it. You got to go 25% off. You got to give them 30% off. Think long-term about that. You want them to be a customer for life. So if you can give them 30% off their first order for them to order today, then they're going to come back and shop with you again. Once they receive your product, they fall in love with it. But you got to get their email address. So much of our business is repeat business because we are capturing emails and we're retargeting them and sending them emails constantly. So that is a part of our growth. Is that. So make sure you have a pop-up that you're collecting email addresses. You also need to make sure that you're emailing them constantly. 10 days at the most, prefer just once a week. And you don't have to always sell. Don't always try to sell to your email list. You need to send them candle care tips, self-care tips. Talk about what you're doing. Let them go on the journey with you. Hey, we're working on room sprays. We're working on wax melts. We're going to get into perfumes. We're going to try our hand at soaps. Like whatever it is that you're doing, let them go on the journey with you. So that is one of the ways that has helped us a lot, is making that connection with our customers. Our customers know us. They know some personal things about our life, some of our growth, where we're going. If we're going on a vacation, we talk about that with them so that they feel part of what we have going on. And then when we do our give back to the community, they also feel part of that because it is their orders and purchases from us that has allowed us to give over $60,000 to different causes. So they feel really connected with us. So that's the online sales is $214,765. Oh, the most important thing about online sales, and I failed to mention, it's your SEO. your search engine optimization. You need to have your titles, your descriptions, your URLs, and your backlinks all set up correctly so that people can find your business, so that strangers are finding your business. So inside of the Inner Circle, which is our business membership for business candle makers that are trying to grow their business, that has been by far the number one workshop that people just go on and on and on about. And it has changed people's traffic to their website dramatically. Like I'm talking people that were getting 10, 15 views or traffic hits on their website a week to getting hundreds a week. I'm telling you, you've got to do SEO. There's lots of SEO articles and websites out there that will scan your website and give you some feedback. You just got to do it. And a lot of them are free. I would not pay for any of the SEO stuff. I did pay myself for a couple months. And then I realized, oh, this other SEO site will do it for free. So find a SEO website that you trust. I like SEMrush, which is semrush.com, or Ahrefs, which is ahref.com. Either of those two are really good, and they will scan your website and give you some results. In fact, when we were doing the SEO website workshop inside of the Inner Circle, we pulled up and do I have? Yeah, so I have a mahogany driftwood candle. It's a play on the mahogany teakwood because we add some lavender driftwood in it, and I've focused all of my attention on that product lately on our website, and so we are on the number one page on Google. We actually have 40 products now on the first page of Google. That's where you need to be. But when you get to the first page of Google with your SEO, you have got to get your product into the top 3 spots. That is the biggest thing with Google SEO is because Google's results when someone searches for something is going to give you the top 3 results, and then there's going to be a space, and then where they have their either like the question and answers and things like that. You've got to get into the top 3 spots on Google. Your sales are going to increase dramatically when you do that. So we did a test while we were looking at my numbers in the workshop. I was number 6. So I focused all my time to that, and we got to the 3rd spot on Google, and it took a couple weeks. Now, SEO in general is a long-term play. It takes a long time to get an understanding of it. Of course, the members inside of the Inner Circle was able to implement stuff right away and are already getting sales. That's fantastic. That's what I like to see. You put in the hard work for it, it's going to pay you long term. So SEO is going to bring you that organic traffic that generally wouldn't be coming to your business because they don't know about it. This is going to be for when people are searching on Google for something, you want to rank up high. And so that has been a big focus of ours. Again, you've got to understand how it works. So learn it. There's going to be plenty of people that will try to sell you. Oh, I'll do the SEO for you. You probably get spam emails if you have a website. People are probably reaching out to you saying that they can do it for you. Learn on your own so you understand how it works. Then if you want to hire someone to do it for you. But if someone's not in the candle world, it's going to be tough for them to do the SEO for you because they're not going to know what people are searching for. So I'll leave it at that. Again, SEO is super important, probably the most important part of our business when it comes to our online sales. Well, it is, in fact, the most important part of our business when it comes to online sales. As a whole, it's a really important part of our business because in 3 years, $214,765 came from online sales. So just keep that in mind. So the next revenue stream is going to be mobile pouring parties. I love doing mobile pouring parties. We did them a lot more when we first started. Now that we have the brick and mortar stores, people will come to us and we can't necessarily justify doing them offsite as much anymore. We'll still do really big events such as church camps, big corporations will bring us in to set up and do it. So those are really good money makers for the right size. Now, when we first started out, we were doing mobile pouring parties often. You do one a week, you do $400 a party, $1,600 to $2,000 a month. It can be very, very lucrative. So the way we do them is 8 people minimum. It was $400 minimum. So that's 8 candles at $50. Now, here's a tip for you. If you're going to get into going down that route, again, I don't want to promote our Inner Circle too much, but we actually have an entire 2-hour workshop on doing mobile pouring parties. So if you want to check more of that out, that's at candlebusinesspro.com/membership. is where you can find out information about the inner circle. So when it comes to doing the mobile pouring parties, when we first started out, we would set up based on a host promising that she was going to have 8 or 10 people. And we set up, and then only 6 people show up, right? So and it was complicated trying to collect money from different people. So really, really quick, we learned, hey, collect the money from the host and allow the host to collect from her guests or their guests, because when they give me that $400, that tells me I'm showing up and I'm pouring 8 candles. If only 5 people show up to that party, 6 people show up to the party, not my problem. That is on the host. This is a host's party. So what happens when only 5 people show up? Well, the host can make more candles. You can make, you have paid for 8 candles at $50. I don't do it for less than that. When we first started out, it was like $35, $40. It's a lot of work. It pays well, but you've got to make sure that you're getting paid. So we do 8 people minimum, $50, $400. If they want us to do a party just for 4 people, again, totally fine. It's still $400. However, they want to break that down, where when pouring 2 candles, totally fine. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, if you're going to do pouring parties, make sure that you're bringing your candles with you, so you can turn that $400 into $1,000 pretty easy, because you show up with your top selling candles. You're setting up your stuff while you're getting your wax melting, getting ready to pour with the guests, and you're setting up all the oils. You also are laying out your candles. So what happens when you pay for a vacation in advance? Or actually, this just here is a great example. We just went to Portugal, and the flights aren't necessarily cheap. So we buy the flight, and then we wait 2 months before the trip. So we get in kind of at the budget rate. It doesn't give you all the extra stuff, the extra leg room, the comfort seats, right, up front, because we're like, no, we can't. We got to do this on a budget. So we got, say, the $500 seats. And that was 2 or 3 months prior to our trip. Then it's the week of the trip, and we're getting all these emails about upgrading. Hey, do you want to upgrade for this or that? And one of the upgrades was, hey, do you want to be in the comfort seat? It's only $80. And we're like, oh gosh, can we still? All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna swing. We're gonna spend the extra money. And so we spent the extra money to upgrade those seats, and then we're on our vacation, and then we get the email before we come back. Hey, do you want to spend $70 for the extra comfort seats on the way back? And it's a long flight. So like, oh yeah, let's do that. So that $500 seat is now $700 that we wouldn't have spent on when we first started our trip. So it's one of those, like, when people have paid for the candle party in advance, they paid for it, they've given the host their $50, or maybe the host is just covering all of it. All the people that come into this pouring party, they show up, they've kind of already spent money, right? So like they're not if they're going to buy candles from you that day, they're not thinking about it being a cost on top of what they're already spending. So we sold more candles when we did mobile parties, as kind of like upsells of our own candles, than we do when people come to our store. Because when people come into our store and they pour candles, they're paying for it right then. So they're like, them and their kids and whomever else, like, it's an expensive bill at the end when they're done, that they're not adding on a bunch of extra stuff. But with pouring parties, you can totally add on stuff. So just keep that in mind. It's something that we had learned, and hopefully that'll help you. If you're collecting money up front, then when you show up the day of, perfect. Also, whenever you're doing like corporate events, so you're going to a bank or a law firm's office, and you're setting up in a conference room, there's so many opportunities to pouring parties. I would absolutely, I could go on and on for hours about it. But when you go to those places, you generally have the companies paying for the pouring, right? So bring your candles, because the attendees that are making candles, they're having fun, they haven't even paid for anything. So they're definitely a great opportunity to buy your candles from you during the event. So keep that in mind. Bring additional products with you for that. So, all right. And then the next revenue stream is markets. So that was 45,600. So we got to start in markets. We were doing markets every single weekend. That is averaging 19 markets a year and averaging just about 800. It was like $790 a market. We had markets that did really well, doing $1,500, $2,000. $2,000, that's pretty rare for us. That would be like a big holiday show or a 2-day show. But we would get to those $1,500 markets just fine. But then we also got those markets that we didn't do so great, where we did $400 in sales and it cost us $150 to do the market. So markets can be hit and miss. Once you've gone through a cycle or a year of doing markets, then the following year, you know which ones you want to do and which ones you don't want to do. A couple of tips when it comes to markets. The ones that are juried seem to be more, I don't want to say respected, but more, they take it a little bit more serious. And for those juried markets, if you go to Zapplication.com with a Z, it's like application with a Z in front of it. That's where a lot of the event organizers set theirs up because it just streamlines everything for them. So that's how we found a lot of markets. You can go there and actually just filter by your state or by your city, if you're in a big enough city, or in a radius from your zip code. And you're going to be able to see tons of markets that you can attend and apply for. But you don't have to just do that. There's plenty of other markets that are not on Zapplication. One thing that I like to do and what we did, because we have gotten, we've seen a flyer or someone talking about it on social media. And so we would go and attend these markets. And sometimes they ended up being like in like a shady, like abandoned strip mall or something. And we walked in, like we were the only customers there. It was awful. And I'm like, gosh, like when we started selling candles, like I don't want to sign up and like I don't want to vend at that. Like that's not my market. That's not my customer. That's not my demographic that I'm trying to sell my candles to. There's also other markets that are like fine arts and like really bougie and over the top. Just like really expensive, $10,000 paintings. And it's like, I don't want to apply and get accepted to that and then like not fit in. Like, so be careful about the markets that you apply for. One of the tip I was getting at before I went off on that little tangent was go to the events Facebook page and then click on their events and then click on their past events to make sure that they've done this before and that they had a good RSVP. You can also go to, say, their Instagram page and then scroll back a year to when they had the event last and kind of look and see some of the photos that they were either tagged or posted themselves, see if there was a crowd. Also, you can reach out to vendors that did it last year. Reach out to a candle maker that was there last year and make a connection. I think so many candle makers feel like this is some kind of a competition. It's definitely not. Every time we show up at a market, we go down and talk to other candle makers. Hey, how's it going? How's your online sales doing? Has it been slow? It's been awful. Are you ready for seasonal candles to come out? Things like that. Make those good connections and friends in the community. And then you can reach out to people on social media that you see in a photo. Like, cause you can tell, whether they have a sign or a banner in their booth. And even if you don't want to reach out to another candle maker, then reach out to, say, a soap maker or someone else that it has a nice setup that you would compare yourself to, like, oh yeah, like that's someone that would put in the amount of work that I would put in. Reach out to them. Hey, I saw that you sell soaps and that you did Sebastian's Corner Market last summer. Hey, are you going to do it again? If they're not going to do it again, that's an indicator right there of, oh, it probably wasn't good. But certainly ask them the follow-up questions. If they say, yeah, they're doing it again, that's really be like, oh, okay, I was just checking. It's the first time I'm applying. I sell soy candles. My average price is $26. I'm hoping that it's a good market and see what information they'll give you and just ask them, hey, do you think this is a good fit for me? We have done markets here in our town that are small, $75 entry fee to vend at it, and we'll make $1,500 in 3 hours and just crush it. That's really good for us to do that amount. There's other markets that are 2 days, cost $300 to attend because there are 50,000 people that come through this. It's our Tulip Time Festival is what it is here in our town. And it's massive. But the demographic that comes to that aren't spending $26 on candles. And so it's a 2-day market and we're making $1,000 total, but I just spent $300 to apply, to be in this. And I got to sit there for 2 days plus the cost of goods, all that stuff. It just ends up not being the right market fit for us. Because the clientele was just different. So, but there's other candle makers that would do amazing at that market. So making sure that it's a good market fit at the market for you. And then lastly, the majority of our sales have now come from our retail store, which is $487,920. So a journey map for us kind of really quick. I'll try to do this. So we started February 25th, 2022. We opened our online store to our friends and family. We did almost $3,000 that week. The first 2 days were over $1,000, and then the sales just went down. But it was the people that were supporting us that they knew we were on this journey. I highly, highly recommend if you're starting out and you haven't even started selling yet, go ahead and create a Facebook business page, an Instagram account, and start posting. Post that you placed an order, post when that order arrives at your house, post when you unbox all the stuff and put it out on a place to make your production space. Post when you make a candle and it turns into a disaster. Post as often as possible, just so that people go on that journey with you. Now, you do not have to be some Instagram influencer, special social media person. Look at our social media. Nothing special. Chad does some reels and they're super cute and they're amazing. But scroll back on our Instagram or Facebook page from when we first started. We let people go on that journey with us. We were just posting photos and just a quick caption. We weren't doing any Photoshop or making any reels. I don't know any of that stuff. Let people go on the journey with you. If all of a sudden out of nowhere, you just pop up and say, hey, friends and family, I now have a candle business. Please go to my website right here and support me. It's not going to happen. You're going to get some people, of course. Hopefully that would support you still. But you have to build up that excitement. It's just like when your seasonal candles come out. You have to build up that excitement. Hey, our fall candles are coming out the same day as Starbucks pumpkin spice latte day, right? And so now we've got 2 weeks to promote it so that the day that it comes out, our candle release, everyone knows it. So you don't catch people off guard. Let them go on the journey with you. Same thing when it comes to our holiday candles. We're promoting our holiday candles are coming 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, 5 days, 2 days, 24 hours open. And then you'll get people that have gone on that journey with you. They're going to buy it from you. Just popping up out of the blue, it just doesn't work as well. And we've done a lot of testing with that as far as just like our candle of the month. So we do a candle of the month every single month. And if there's a heads up, hey, it's coming. These are the scent notes. That is going to do better for us than just popping up and be like, oh, bam, here it is. Buy it right now. And then not doing any follow-up. We'll still get some residual sales if we forget to send that previous email out. But it takes a couple emails and social media posts to get people to buy. So people aren't just instantly buying. It's not like you are at the grocery store and you're grabbing a pack of gum as you're checking out. That's not what we're doing with our candles. It just doesn't work. There's a lot more effort that has to go into doing a initial purchase. Okay, so let me go back. So we opened up our store on February 25th, 2022, and it's cold. We're in Michigan. So after that first week of the highs and the lows of opening it up to our friends and family, we then realized, okay, now there's nothing else. So how do we sell candles? So that's when I started working on SEO for our website. It still takes, again, it's a long game, but you got to do it. But it was too cold for us to start doing markets because markets here don't start until May. So between February and May, my complete focus was back again to wholesale and creating that wholesale catalog and creating that spreadsheet that we use, creating those emails and starting to reach out to all of the potential retailers for us. We reach out to stores locally first, and then we just slowly keep going out and out, right? Of the 171,000, the 138 accounts that we have, we are still like Midwest, right? We have not gone crazy on the East Coast. We have the Carolinas, for some reason, love our candles, and Florida likes our candles. So we've had a lot of people that have done outreach to us for those. But as far as my strategy of reaching out to shops to carry our products, I'm still in the Midwest. So what I do is I started locally, and then I went to like Grand Rapids, which is the town, just the large city close to us. And then I just hit up all the little towns. And the way I do my wholesale is, again, I have this spreadsheet that I use, and that's in our wholesale course. And the way I do it is I collect all the information for the stores that I want to reach out to. So I'll just do that in one sitting. If we're at home after a long day, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm just like researching gift shops that I feel like we would be a good fit for, or what our demographic, generally what we go for is women's boutiques. Women's boutiques that our price point is what they are spending for candles in those stores aligns really well. That is kind of where our niche lies. And so I'm looking up all these women boutique stores that are selling things at the price points that we would fit in. And I'm just creating a list. And then the next time I have time to sit down, I send out my initial email to all of those stores. Here's the key, that this is why wholesale doesn't work for so many people. Over 80% of the wholesale accounts that we received came from the follow-up, not from the initial emails. You're going to email these stores and they may have all good intentions of getting back to you, but they're busy. They're running a shop. They're opening the doors up. They're putting their sign out. They're doing orders. They're doing all kinds of things. They may have good intention of following back up or responding to you. They file that email away and then they forget about you. And that's just how it works. I know this firsthand now that we have retail stores and I stock other brands in our store. We get emails all the time from makers wanting us to carry their soaps, their perfumes, and I have good intention of following up with the ones that look appealing. It is not realistic to expect a response because we're getting so many emails. I just don't respond. If I'm interested, I respond. However, follow up with them again, because it's that follow-up that is like, oh shoot, yeah, I forgot to reach out to that person about their soaps. So the majority of vendors in our stores are people that followed up with us. And it's the exact same thing with our outreach with wholesale. Over 80%, I guarantee, is over 80% of the accounts of the 138 wholesale accounts that we have, all of the ones that we did outreach for, at least 80% happened on the follow-up. So I sit down, I create that spreadsheet, and then I block off another amount of time and I email all of them just so it's all done on the same day. So I email all of them, and then exactly a week later, I follow up with all of them that have not responded. So, and then if they don't respond to you, exactly 1 week later, do it again. I'll follow up a couple of times, and then if they haven't responded, then they will just go on my quarterly email list that I'll just email every quarter, or whenever I do a wholesale catalog update, that I just kind of blast out to everybody that's on my list. But do not hesitate to follow up. What's the worst that they're going to say? No, remove me from your list. Like, we're running a business here, and if that's the worst that someone's going to say to you in a day, then it's not a bad day. So make sure you're doing the follow-up, or you're leaving an incredible amount of money on the table. Talking of wholesale, and I dive into this a little bit more in our course, or in some of my other wholesale videos, fair. So fair is good for certain makers. For us, we're not in a price point with our candle. This is a $26 candle. We wholesale for $13. $13 is high wholesale for a lot of just general gift shops and even the women's boutiques. They are looking for smaller candles that are inexpensive, less than $10, that they can mark up to close to $20, and that they can just sell, right? So it's not great for us. We've gotten sales on fair. In fact, both of those really large accounts that we have in wholesale kind of came through fair. They found us on fair. But these are big companies. They don't buy from fair. So they found us, they did their research for us, found us on fair, found these location-based candles that they really liked, and then they emailed us. And so they reached out to us directly and saying, hey, we saw all of this here, but we can't physically buy from there because, they need our candles in 40 different stores. You can't do that on fair. Like, you order from fair and you're shipping it to one place. Like, no, these companies need us to ship to different locations. We had to ship them to the different airports. So people are shopping for wholesale products on these marketplaces such as fair, and but they'll reach out to you directly. So just keep that in mind. If your fair isn't doing well and you're like, what's the point of it? Well, you know what? And you want to shut it down. Well, you're not paying for it. And if you're using Shopify, which I recommend everyone's using Shopify, it integrates So anything that you update on Shopify, it just goes right over to Fair if you have your settings correctly. So you're not paying for it. So just leave it out there. In fact, we had a order last year. So the Tulip Time, the festival that we have here in Holland, Michigan that I talked about, we have a Holland and Bloom tulip themed candle. Well, there's a and I had that out on Fair, even though like no one locally is going to buy that. I already reached out to all those stores, but it's out there. Well, there is a Tulip Time festival in Orange, Iowa. They were looking for tulip stuff, found our candle, and that was a $9,000 order. We made custom candles for. We just modified our Holland and Bloom candle to, what did it say? Orange City and Bloom. I think that's a location for them, and they loved it. And of all places, it wasn't the festival organizer or a women's boutique, those kind of places that we typically go after trying to get our products in. It was actually a meat market. Like there's this a bougie high end. They have these crazy, I don't know, 10 pounds or $10 a pound ground beef kind of places. Like it's a really nice meat market is what I'm getting at. And they have a whole like section of stuff, of retail items. And so this meat market bought our candles. So I thought it was interesting. They were fantastic to work with. Yeah. So that's another just opportunity just by just being out there on Fair. So be out there, get it all set up. And then it's kind of like our Etsy where we just kind of forget about it. So with Etsy, we started with Etsy and Etsy's very fickle. Right when we first started, we opened up our Shopify store and we opened up our Etsy store. You can put a lot of time on the SEO in the tags and things like that in Etsy. But if I'm going to put all that energy into a website, I want to do that into my own website. Etsy's great because there's people that are on Etsy shopping, that they trust Etsy. So if they find your products on there, that's great. We just don't put a lot of effort into it, anymore. Their fees, sure, people complain about their fees being high. In reality, like they're bringing you a customer, right? We dedicate quite a bit towards our marketing that we talked about, and you got to make sure that your pricing of your candles are to a point where you can afford to pay fees, whether that's Etsy fees, Amazon fees, advertising on Meta, Facebook and Instagram fees, those type of things, right? There's going to be fees associated with growing your business. So we have our Etsy account out there. Again, we don't do anything with it, and we'll get 2 or 3 orders a month. And usually it'll go in waves. We'll go a month without anything. And I'm like, we get a bill from Etsy and it's like 20 cents a listing. So there's, a bill for $9 or something whenever it renews annually or every 6 months, however it works. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just shut that down. Like we don't even pay it any attention. And then it's like, it hears me because then we will get 3 or 4 Etsy orders. They're nothing big. But I also think that it works just like Fair does, where people will find us on Etsy and then they go to our website and just buy from us directly. So I like being out there for that reason. We do a lot of online orders, and I think that a lot of that comes from these different locations. And Etsy can be one of those. So paying those 20 cents for those listing fees every 6 months or a year, whatever it is definitely worth it in my eyes, so that people are seeing our product and then they're looking our brand up and then they are coming to us and seeing everything that we have and then making purchases. So just keep that in mind, that it's kind of free advertising or very low cost advertising out there. So, all right, that is our total. That is how we got to $962,605 through Shopify. Now let's talk about Amazon. Amazon is a bear. It is a lot. So we have done $25,000 in Amazon sales, but Amazon fees are so high. They're high. Your returns amounts are going to be high as well. There's so many people, they're fraudulent. So many people will buy a product from you. A few days later, they say that they're going to return it. Here's a key if you are going down the road or exploring Amazon. Doing fulfilled by Amazon is much better. I don't want to say better. You're going to get a lot more sales doing fulfilled by Amazon than fulfilled by merchant. So that's where more of the fees come in. But it is worth it for Amazon to handle all of that, especially with time, to have Amazon shipping our stuff rather than us. Also, people want that Prime. They want to get a product they buy in 2 days or less. And they only can get that with the fulfilled by Amazon. The fulfilled by merchant is going to be like a standard 3 to 5 days. Some people don't want to wait that long, and so they're not going to buy your product. So that's the reality of it. The items that we have on, so we have our items for both ways, to where if it sells out at Amazon, they can buy it where it's fulfilled by merchant, fulfilled by us. And the sales are dramatically lower whenever that happens. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to do FBA is what it's called, if you are going to go that route. So when it comes to returns on Amazon, when you set up your Amazon account, they ask you if you want to, if someone files to do a return, do you want to have the customer return the item back to Amazon? Or do you want them just to dispose of it, keep it, whatnot? And if you want it to come back to Amazon, you, as the brand, have to pay for that return shipping. So not only are you paying to ship it to them, you're paying Amazon fees. So you're already only making this much money. But when that customer wants to return it, you have to pay for that as well. So like now you're losing all that money. Here's the thing though. So many people will buy from you on Amazon, and this is like 5 to 8% of the orders that we have sent out to customers, people will try to do a return on for whatever reason. We've had less than 5 total returns in our brand ever, through our website, through our stores, less than 5 total returns ever. On Amazon, it's 5 to 8% of our orders people try to do a return on. So when Amazon says, do you want them to send the product back? We set it up as yes, we do. And here's the thing. The 5 to 8% of returns that are initiated never fully complete, because that customer is initiating that return, trying to see if you're going to require them to return that product, because they know that a lot of these suppliers, they don't want the product back. They don't want to have to deal with it afterwards. They just say, hey, you know what? Keep it. If you've ever filed a return on Amazon and you go to the very last step and you're thinking you're going to have to box it up and take it to a location to drop off, and you're fine with all of that, and then you click like, yes, you agree, and then it pops up and it's like, actually at the vendor's request, like just dispose of or get rid of the product. So just keep it. It's basically what it's saying. Just keep it. Well, that's what these people are hoping. They bought the product from me. They've used the product, or they're using the product, or they're buying it as a gift, or whatever their case for buying it originally was. And now they're trying to get their money back but keep the product. So they're going through the entire process of processing a return. And I say, yes, I want that product back. They don't return it back. So then Amazon doesn't give them their money back. So then we are, even though it's 5 to 8% of our sales, people try to return. In reality, it's less than 2% actually get returned. And so that's the key to us. So it's worth it for us to pay that return shipping on that, 1 to 2% that actually do go through with a return, to cover and not lose out on that other percentage. So that's something to keep in mind if you're going to go down the Amazon route there. There's always a lot of things that happens especially with the age of like AI. We've had a lot of issues with Amazon lately. Even though we're a brand registered, like we are the trademark, we own anything that we put out on Amazon. It would pop up. We just dealt with this thing for over a month where they were saying that our listings were a duplicate of another listing, and that we didn't have reseller rights. And like, but it took forever. So they stopped selling that product. Then they ended up actually sending that product back to us. And then our appeal won. They realized that it was an error with their AI scraping model. I don't know, something. Well, now we got to go through the whole process of shipping back out there. So just left a bad taste in our mouth. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of energy drain. Our team has to log into Amazon every day and see what the orders were, see what we got to refill, things like that, to where we are slowing down with Amazon and we're putting more of our energy into other places. So that is a little bit of tips for you there. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. We do a lot of private label and custom orders. So think outside of the box when it comes to this. So when it comes to like private label and custom orders, so this is a way that you can really expand your business is thinking outside of the box of ways of selling your candles. Weddings are fantastic. We're going into wedding season now. Wedding favors, wedding scent for the people getting married, for the wedding party as nice gifts. So going after weddings is a really good way of bringing in rather quick income. And it's one of the things with weddings is not everyone, but a lot of people are willing to kind of overspend because it's that one special day for them. And I don't want to say overspend, but they will buy a wedding favor for the entire wedding party. Is it necessary to do that and give everyone a candle? I don't know if I would spend the money on that, but it can be lucrative as a candle maker to do that. Creating a scent with the people getting married and having a special scent for them is a fantastic thing to do as well. Corporate gifts. So corporate gifts is a fantastic way of selling candles. So if you've heard of Tommy's Car Wash, or Quality Car Wash is another name that it operates under, they reached out to us they've got car washes all over the country. They're the ones that you drive through, the automatic ones. They reached out to us to recreate that scent of when you drive through a car wash. So Chad worked with their team, recreated that scent, and they give out those candles to their franchisee people with their like end of year report. They like sent them a box, had a bottle of wine, it had their annual report, and then it had our candle. So they send these out, and it was 300 of these candles that they sent out to all these locations. Then the franchisee owners that open up this box, they love the candle. They wanted the candles to give to some of their VIP customers, some corporate accounts and things like that, that's supporting their business. So then now we've got this like cycle going of we're creating these candles for the home office that's giving them out to different locations. So things like that can really boost your sales and boost a business. And now people are seeing these candles, our name and our branding is underneath every single candle. That contributes to our online sales. So another opportunity for you that you may not be thinking of is utilizing a Chamber of Commerce list to grow your private order or your private label sales. So Chamber of Commerce is a networking opportunity for you. Every city usually has one. Ours, it's $30 a month. We join it, and then we have a list of all these other members, and we, being a member, can now email all of them. So I sent out an email to every single member of our chamber and got multiple orders for, we're offering when we reach out to them, private custom candles. So we've done things for like, what I'm going to call it is called Cornerstone, which is a assisted living facility where the district manager is the contact person from the chamber list, and he wanted to buy culture building, team building gifts for the staff, right? So that's a big order. And him being a district manager, he's on these other calls, and now we've got these candles going out to different Cornerstone locations across the country. And so that's a fantastic way. Get in with some of these businesses. All of these businesses, or a lot of businesses, will do corporate gifts for their staff, their teams at the end of the year. So reaching out in October saying, hey, we can make a custom gift that says something automotive on there or something spa on there, whatever the brand is. There's so many different businesses that you might not think to reach out to, but having a chamber list and reaching out to all of them and offering custom candles is huge. Also with custom candles, you're not giving them wholesale prices. You're making a good amount on those. So it can be very, very lucrative to get in on there. Also, once you have that chamber list and you've emailed people a few times, you don't have to stick with the chamber forever if it's not a good fit for you. One of the things while we're talking about organizations like that, the Better Business Bureau, I wouldn't spend the money on it. Having a tag on your website is one of the perks that they say that you're Better Business Bureau accredited. They don't really do much with their accreditation. I would much rather invest in an app on my website that's going to collect reviews for me, that are going to be honest, rather than paying the Better Business Bureau to have a little tag on there. No one goes to the Better Business Bureau's website to leave a glowing review. It's always negativity, right? And we know that because We see people threaten is, hey, I'm going to report you to the Better Business Bureau, right? I would not spend the money on that. Of course, it's your call. You can look into it and see if it's a wise decision for your brand or not. So, all right. Well, I want to wrap this up here for us. We've talked for quite some time here. Hopefully, this has been of value for you. So let's talk about the last thing and what I would do today if I needed to sell $1,000 in candles in a couple weeks. If you need to make quick money, this is one of the cornerstones of our business. Not to make quick money, but ongoing, but it's something that can bring in some lucrative revenue. That is fundraisers. Fundraisers have been a big part of our initial growth because when you're first starting out, you don't have an email list. You don't have people just coming to your website necessarily because you don't have your SEO and all that worked out yet. And again, that stuff takes time to start bringing in that organic traffic. So how are you going to get more eyes on your brand? How are you going to get your name out there without just running random ads? Fundraisers. If you need $1,000 in the next 2 weeks, reach out to 4 nonprofit organizations and partner with them to do a fundraiser. 4 of them, that's $200, $250 each that you need them to sell. So when you reach out to an organization, this is what I would start with. I would start with your Humane Society, your animal shelter. Those pet lovers, we're a pet lover. We spend more money on our dogs than we do on ourselves. Our vet bills are way higher than our medical expenses every year. So people love their pets. Those and the shelters are always in need of something, right? They're always in need of money. So they have a big email list. They have lots of supporters out there. So partner with nonprofits. Say, hey, I've got in fact, doing fundraisers is why we created an entire line of candles called Pet Palace candles, which are pet odor eliminating candles. We were doing fundraisers with animal societies or animal shelters, humane societies, and they just started doing really well. So we made odor eliminating candles and we have them promote that candle to their email list, with them getting 25% of the revenue of the sale. So they go to our website, they buy from this page on our Shopify store, and the sales come in, we give 25% to that organization. It does extremely well for us that we actually did a workshop inside of the Inner Circle, or we have like our templates of all the emails that we send out to get it all set up that has the language right. Because what it is you want the organization to do the promoting because you don't have an email list. You haven't built that email list yet. So you want that organization to promote for you. So humane societies are fantastic. Nonprofit theaters are fantastic. Church groups, religious organizations that are large, they're always raising money for something, it seems. So having them do something that, again, these people are selling all the candles for you, and then you are just writing them a check afterwards. Also, some schools can be a little bit, there's a little bit more red tape to get through sometimes. But like, for instance, my mom is a school teacher and her in rural Indiana, and they didn't have money they needed new jerseys, new like basketball jerseys. So they did a fundraiser with our candles and all the players, there's junior varsity, I don't know, all these different levels of basketball. They're out selling our candles and they got 25% back. They got new jerseys. So it's a win-win because the organization is going to get money. You're getting money, but not only that, you are now getting eyes on your website, on your brand, and now you're getting email addresses because emails is such a huge part of growing your business, is staying in contact with people because it is so much easier for you to sell something to someone that's already in your world than it is to go out and acquire new customers. So it's so much easier to do that. So keep that in mind. Again, there's the Humane, and also, so when you do like the Humane Society or animal shelter, you do it in your town. Okay, you're done there. Now do it for the town next door and then the town next door. So you don't have to just think locally. Think of any way that you can raise money for a cause that you care about and you can partner with and have them do the promoting for you, have them posting on social media, and that is going to bring you tons of traffic. That is probably one of the springboards of our business when we first started, was doing a lot of that. And it still is today. That over $60,000 that we've been able to donate to organizations, A lot of that comes from fundraisers, and the rest of it comes from causes that we just care deeply about, and as part of our mission and our values that people align with. So, all of this in wrapping up, I do want to say, um, there are going to be three. Okay, so in wrapping up, these are all different avenues that you can explore selling candles. There's a lots of different ways. There's other ways out there that you can sell candles that we aren't doing. I wanted to share with you how we're doing it and where we're going to put our focus going forward. Fundraisers is always going to be a big focus for us. We really need to double down and keep going more with that. We're going to not put any focus into Amazon, or very, very minimal focus in Amazon, Etsy, Fair, things like that. We're not going to stress about that as much. All of these things are energy suckers. They pull the energy out from you. So you just have to kind of let some of these things go sometimes, and that's okay. But trying all of them is very important so that you can see what works for you. Wholesale is fantastic because it can be, uh, it's not passive, but it grows as you want it to grow. For instance, we have someone in the inner circle that has gone through our wholesale course and is a school teacher. And so she's only focusing on wholesale when she has the time. And there's times in her calendar where she just can't focus on it. So if she's getting orders coming in, she can produce the orders and get them out. That's great. But she's not proactively reaching out to potential new retailers when she's busy. That's totally fine. So with your candle business, the main thing that you have to start with, you have to have a good candle. You have to have a good candle that you can sell. Um, is it anything special? Anything over the top? No. This candle, anyone can make. Our candles aren't out of this world different from someone else's. Have a really good candle, have good branding, understand who your target audience and your niche is. You cannot sell to everybody. You've got to pick a niche that you want to be in, sell to them, and put all your energy into them. And that will make your business grow 10 times. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. I greatly appreciate you being here. If you found this to be useful, drop a comment below, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff that they ask us to do. If you have a question, put it in the comments below and I'll answer that on an upcoming video. Also, I have that free resource for you out on our website, candlebusinesspro.com/million. And that is it. Have a fantastic day. Take care.